What is going on, guys? It is WrestleMania here, back with some more news. Join us now as we look at the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including whether The Rock is stealing Roman's spotlight, the truth behind WWE star quitting wrestling, was CM Punk's promo unscripted, Raw is doing huge numbers, Stephanie McMahon gave Rousey a concussion, a WrestleMania set being built, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Also check out our new videos on WrestleMania Shorts. Now let's hit the intro and get straight into our first story. Our first story looks at The Rock stealing Roman's spotlight. On top of today's news is a question of whether The Rock is stealing Roman Reigns' spotlight. Reigns, who's been pushed as the elite of the elite in the WWE, is suddenly looking like a second banana to The Rock. At least that's the argument Nick Nemeth, aka former superstar Dolph Ziggler, is making. Nemeth discussed how and what he sees as a focus on The Rock. Does it make Roman look like a little brother? A little bit. We had a year and 9 months before The Rock of this 2-year story, so I get it. We all know The Rock's involved, we all know that the back and forth has only been Rock and Cody. Let's get back to the championship match. I really think I want them to sell me on WrestleMania, not just watching on TV. Why I need to be in the building for this moment. He makes a good point, as the storyline is supposed to be about Cody's quest to defeat Roman and finish his story. He also makes a strong case that Roman has slipped into the background since The Rock's return. What's unknown is how much The Rock feels he needs to be put into the story and how much he feels his presence will increase its success. Some fans have questioned whether The Rock's recent missteps in Hollywood have led him to returning to wrestling to regain momentum for his image. Given the rumors that Rock won't be available for several months after WrestleMania due to film commitments, there's also the question of why so much time is being invested in The Rock if he won't be around until at least SummerSlam and likely longer. Whatever the circumstances surrounding The Rock's return and the WWE's seeming emphasis on him over Roman, the WWE deserves part of the blame due to it allowing Reigns to work a very limited schedule. Fans have come to expect few appearances from Reigns, and while he's still a draw, his rare appearances make it even easier for someone to steal the show for him. Do you think The Rock is stealing the spotlight for Roman, either intentionally or inadvertently? If so, what is the reason or reasons behind this, and is it a good or bad thing? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, the truth behind the WWE star quitting wrestling. Is former brawling brute Ridge Holland retiring from wrestling? Holland, who's been working on NXT of late, recently announced on the 26th March edition of the Black and Gold brand that he's hanging up his boots. As he Scoops noted though, Holland delivered an emotional promo on Tuesday's NXT and stunned the fans with his announcement. He has said he's been going through a lot lately and is concerned for the safety of not only his opponents but himself. The WWE followed this up by moving Holland to its alumni section, sending the message that this is legitimate. However, some of you will be glad to know that Ridge isn't retiring and the WWE is doing the best to fool the fans, at least according to Fightful Select. NXT sources have confirmed to Corey Brennan of Fightful Select that this is part of Holland's current storyline and is not an official retirement. The story has been one that Holland has been motivated to do, with the former brawling brute being receptive to suggestions. The WWE is playing off how Holland accidentally injured Biggie 2 years ago, as well as Holland being involved in a match where Pretty Deadly's Elton Prince was hurt. Some fans are criticizing the WWE for exploiting real-life injuries into an angle. Nonetheless, the WWE appears to be going full speed ahead with this storyline, and it's unknown what kind of payoff it will lead to. Whatever the case, the announcement did get a funny reaction from fans, as some were clapping in the audience. What do you guys think though? Is this in bad taste or just another example of the promotion using a real life story and spinning it into a kayfabe one? Next up, was CM Punk's promo unscripted? Fans are still talking about Monday's wild episode of Raw, including the no-holds-barred promo between Punk, Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins. Punk and McIntyre laid into each other, and Seth Rollins with some hard-hitting insults, while the Visionary did his best to stay in the game. However, while the WWE still scripts promos, Fightful Select is reporting that all three superstars were given considerable latitude. The buzzworthy promos saw each man taking shots at one another repeatedly during the show had a much more loose feeling, and if those in WWE are to be believed, it was as scripted as many other we've seen. This would seem obvious in the past, but even some of the most emotional promos that many thought weren't scripted ended up being scripted word for word. Instead, the claim internally is that there was a general outline and are told that the talent knew they were all going to just go for it and see what happens. CM Punk's use of profanity didn't go unnoticed, but even though the WWE has stressed it's still a PG company in terms of language, these restrictions seem to be growing more relaxed. Next up, CM Punk promo, a wild success. The three-way verbal volley between Punk, McIntyre and Rollins obviously caught the WWE Universe's attention as WrestleNomics' Brandon Thurston is reporting on the blockbuster numbers it brought in. The high quarter hour for the WWE Raw last night by far was 9 to 9:15 PM, with the CM Punk Drew McIntyre Seth Rollins in-ring segment averaging 2.2 million viewers and a 0.71 18 to 49 rating. It benefited from no ad breaks though, so did the opening quarter. The average for Raw last night was 1.729 million, which gives you a good idea of how much the segment popped the audience. Next up, did Stephanie McMahon give Rousey a concussion? Now it's time from the latest from former superstar Ronda Rousey, as she's now discussing the concussions she suffered during a time in the WWE, including one particularly potent slap from Stephanie McMahon. Rousey, who's been busy promoting her upcoming memoir Our Fight, recently spoke with Cage Side Seats, detailing how she struggled with concussions for much of her life, including a run in WWE, and a very rich concussion history before I even started in MMA. For my entire judo career, which was like 10 years, I actually was experiencing concussion symptoms more often than not for an entire decade. Rousey said she often worked through concussions rather than taking time off to recover. She also noted some wallops she took in WWE, including one from Stephanie McMahon. It gave me a concussion, Rousey claimed, adding this was not an isolated incident during her first WWE run. Nikki Bella gave me an open hand slap in the days leading to their match at Evolution, and I was seeing stars and I had a headache for the rest of the day. Ronda explained that the more you suffer concussions, the easier it is to get another one. As Rousey explained, she didn't want to discuss her concussions with the UFC for fear of being forced to retire, despite it affecting her ability to compete. Rousey mentioned why she didn't want to tell the WWE about concussions, saying, "I didn't want to say anything. I didn't want them to say, oh, you can't do this match that you've been preparing for. You can't do this, can't do that." And I've had a lifetime of experience hiding concussions, and so now that I've basically put all that behind me, I can finally be open about these things. What do you think of Rousey's admission that she competed in UFC and the WWE while suffering concussions? Next up, Becky Lynch discusses Mercedes Moné's contract. Lynch recently spoke with the Orlando Sentinel about this, commenting, "I think that's an important part, getting paid equally for the equal work and the equal position we are at right now. Women's evolutions and revolutions are fine and well, but making sure that they equate to contracts and financial reward for these things when we're doing equal work is hugely important." Lynch's remarks about the women's evolutions and revolutions are interesting because some critics have questioned just how much of the WWE's supposed renewed push of its women, that is the women's revolution, is marketing and how much of it is substance. If the WWE's women aren't being paid their worth, then what good is the so-called revolution? Lynch's current WWE deal is believed to expire this year, and with fellow superstars Charlotte Flair and Bayley having negotiated new deals, not to mention Mercedes' deal, it seems a lock that Lynch should command top dollar wherever she decides to wrestle. Next up, Bayley bears broken heart. Is Bayley heartbroken after Damage Control kicked her to the curb? The role model has made it clear in interviews that she's dismayed at how she worked so hard to help Io Sky and Dakota Kai by forming Damage Control, but now Bayley is sharing a message from 2022 that appears to show her efforts to recruit Io into the group. "Hi Io, this is Bayley. I got your number from Dakota Kai. Hope that's okay. I have an idea that I want to pitch. The text being covered by a knife emoji, and it would involve you. Would you be interested?" Io will reply, "Hi Bayley, of course, I'm so interested." Are you guys looking forward to the Bayley vs Io Sky match at WrestleMania? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, Solo's sorry streak. I have the wrestling gods curse Solo Sikoa for crushing John Cena at Crown Jewel. Consider this, the Bloodline's enforcer has gone from hero to zero ever since his big win in Saudi Arabia, and now he's an incredible 0-34. You may recall reports that so far Solo isn't booked to wrestle at Mania, and that may be a good thing as he doesn't need any more embarrassment on the grandest stage of them all. Why do you think Solo is losing so much? Let us know in the comments down below. And finally, WrestleMania set being built. Last but not least, the WWE is already hard at work building the set for this year's Mania, as new photos have surfaced on X showing the initial phases of construction. The WWE seems to be building WrestleMania 40 up as one of its greatest Manias ever, with several big names rumored to be coming in. It'll be interesting to see whether the WWE delivers an unforgettable set as well. But there you have it folks, the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know. Be sure to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.